Hello, everybody. I don't know if I tried recording a little bit already, and I think my audio wasn't actually being recorded. So, fortunately, I caught the mistake right before I did my sleep research. So, hopefully, I should be able to get this in. So far today, I have collected the skills off my Entei. I got one proc, and I collected the Gardevoir. It got me a double proc of energy. I fed breakfast. It was about 3,000 strength. I made the Stalwart juice again. So now we're just going on to the sleep session, or checking it out. So let's see how that went. It was a pretty long session. I slept in pretty late today, so this looks like it's going to be snoozing, which snoozing Lapis is where you see Ralts, which is the big thing there. Lapis is weird because it's one of the few islands where pretty much every sleep type has something that you want. Because it's got Dratini at dozing, snoozing has Ralts, and slumbering has Stuffle. So, pretty much anything, any sleep style is good at Lapis. You may already have one. I've already got a pretty good Beware, and my shiny Gardevoir, which I use all the time, and I've got that Dragonite that I like. So, I don't really need anything at Lapis. I'm mostly here just for the candy. Oh, new Comfey style. That's appreciated. I don't really care about Comfey. I think it's kind of mid. It's great if you're just starting off, but if you have Lapis unlocked, then it's kind of useless, because the only thing it's really good for is just unlocking that corn. So, yep. Also, unfortunately, seeing Meowth in Persian, but Comfey, 1 star. We'll log this real quick. Alrighty. I'm surprised I didn't have the 1 star style. I only had the 2 and 3 stars for that. When Comfey was released, a lot of people went to islands where it could spawn because they kind of wanted the new Pokemon. It was the Flower Festival. Back when that was happening, though, I did not go to an island where it spawned. I went to Top, because I didn't really care about the new Pokemon. I was like, this thing kind of sucks. It's not that bad, but I was like, I just don't need it, so... Of everything here, what do I want to feed my bonus biscuit to? Well, I always like to feed extra Pikachus, because I feel like there's a lot of potential in the Raichu. I already have 2 solid ones, though, that I use quite a bit, so I don't need another one. So that's kind of like, if there's nothing else I really want, sort of deal. I've already got some pretty decent Dittos. I'll show them off eventually. Meowth and Persian just not worth anything, and I've got my shiny Gardevoir, and I don't... If I'm gonna reinvest, I wanted to catch it as a Ralts, not as a Curlia or Gardevoir, because I just don't want to put that many skill seeds into it. So I guess, the process of elimination, the Slowpoke. I don't have a great Slowbro candidate or Slowking, so I think Slowpoke is a decent option here. Not a great Pokemon, probably like A or B tier even when it's Slowking or Slowbro, but I think they have some nice synergy with Suicune specifically, and I think that's their strength. I think Suicune's release got them a huge buff, because before their speed just really held them back. They're both really slow, as their name would imply. As for candy today, let's see. I think it's between the Ditto, the Pikachu, or the Ralts candy. I'm gonna go with... I'm gonna go with the Pikachu. Just because, with the old gold power plant coming out here soon, I think a lot of people are trying to ready their Raichus, so... I think the Ditto is also a good option just because it's really rare, and the Gardevoir because it only exists at Lapis. All three, I think, are decent options, but just given the context of what's going on right now in the Pokemon Sleep community, I think Pikachu is a pretty strong option. If I'm wrong, call me out in the comments. Okay, let's see. What does this Slowpoke got? Jolly. I think Jolly is what my Gardevoir has, which if that's the case is XP gains up, ingredient finding down, which you don't really want that on a Slowpoke because you really want those tails. It doesn't have the right ingredient list. Slowpoke's weird being a skill specialist. It's like the one Pokemon that's not an ingredient specialist where you still care about the ingredient list. I was right about the nature. It does have ingredient finding down, XP gains up. I think I've got better ones, so this guy is probably just going to be candy. Unfortunately. I don't even know what I'm necessarily looking for in a Slowpoke. It's a weird Pokemon in this game. Alrighty. Let's send him to the blender. Now, I'll show you the other Slowpokes that I was talking about so that you can see for comparison. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's right, it always starts with caps. So, I've got two Slowbros already. I'll show them off. So this one, this was my, I want to unlock Tails, and I want to unlock Tails now find. I pretty much caught him so that I had enough KD to get him to level 30, just barely. And then run him for a day just to unlock him. He's not really that great. I sometimes use him for that research XP bonus overnight on Sunday nights. But that's pretty rare because I usually prefer the Dream Shard bonus instead, because 9 times out of 10 Dream Shard bonus is just strictly better, since you get more Dream Shards and you get research XP, and especially when you're capped out on level, then you don't need more. You need more. You just need more Dream Shards because you're just getting less off the research XP because they're both the same percentage of 6%. So I don't really use this guy ever, but I hold on to him because I'm like, what if I need him again? Anyway, other Slowbro. This one I caught as a Slowbro, as you can see. It's got a level 1 main skill, but it does have double tails, and yeah, that's about all he's got going for him. He does have main skill chance up. Honestly, I don't know why I hold on to him, but he's here. I just feel like I can't let him go because there's something there with the double tails and the main skill chance up, but he's honestly not that great. He does have skill trigger S as well. He would be a much better slow king. I think that's my problem with him. He'd be much better as a slow king, but I caught him as a slow bro, so I didn't get the opportunity of choice. I think the only reason why I caught this guy, why I caught fully evolved Pokemon, fully evolved Skillsmon, it was hungry one day, and I like to just throw a single Pokebiscuit at hungry Mons, even if they're fully evolved, just in case it crits, because I'm like, worst comes to worst, I can always make them candy. But I held on to this guy because he does have a shockingly high amount of skill trigger, but yeah, he's got the skill trigger M blocking him from skill seeing that, so I'm never going to use this guy. Yeah, he's candy. What was I thinking in favoriting him? I didn't even know he was still in there, clogging up my space. Then I got this one that I called Sleeper. Now, I've got two Pokemon that I've named, I got two Pokemon that I've named Sleeper, and one of them's a Slowpoke. The only reason why I call them that is because they got Dream Shard bonus and Research XP. They're garbage. The whole point is that they're garbage, but I run them on Sunday night, and that's it. Just to get some extra Dream Shards and extra Research XP. I think if you find ones with both of these sub-skills, then that is great utility on Sunday night. They don't need to be good in any other way, because the whole purpose behind that strategy is you're not collecting sneaky snacking on Sunday night because the island resets. So you don't need to run a strong Pokemon. So instead, you just run one with the gold skills to get extra value out of your sleep points from across the week. So he is here for that purpose and that purpose only. just to sleep one night a week. I've only done it once actually so far, and that was just last week. But this guy is pretty new actually. He's a pretty new addition to my sleep routine. Now this slowpoke I feel like is my only good slow twin. He's got the double tails. He's got helping bonus. He's got ingredient finding and skill trigger. That's like what you want on a slowpoke. Neutral, pretty much neutral nature. XP gains down is a bit unfortunate, but for energy recovery up is kind of, it's not the best on a skills mon, because you really aren't swapping them around that much, but it does give a little bit of, I see energy recovery up as like, it grants flexibility to take them off the team as you see fit, because they gain an extra energy from energy for everyone. However, ideally, with the slowpoke, you're probably making one slow bro, one slow king to run alongside that Suicune. So, I don't know. I caught one really good one once I invest some skill seeds. I mean, the first 4 sub skills is pretty much exactly what you want on a slowpoke. It's got the helping bonus, which is a S tier skill. Unfortunately, they're all the white versions of their skills though, and not the silver. So I'd have to invest 3 sub skill seeds in this guy to make him hit what he could be, but he's pretty much, aside from the nature being effectively neutral, he's pretty much perfect. So I'm glad I caught this guy. I've got one real good slow poke. I don't know if I want to be slow bro or slow king. Either I think is a good option. I think the slow king is better just because it's only got 1 tier of ingredient finding, so I'm still looking for a good slow bro candidate. But yeah, that's my collection of slow pokes, or slow twins. I'll show off a couple more of my collection today. Last time I know we ended off at the Flareon, I believe? Yeah. So, Meganium. Now, before I found out about the Old Gold Power Plant and the Sleep Style event week next week, I was running this guy along with my Raichus and my Gengar because I was like, I just want strength because I need sleep shards. So, I ran him. He's pretty par for the course for berry specialists. I've gotten to a point where berry finding S and berry finding S alone is not enough for me, which is what my old Meganium had, because I've just been playing so long and catching so many things that I've got better options than berry finding S and berry finding S alone most of the time. They usually need at least berry finding S and one other skill for them to be worth considering in my eyes. I wouldn't recommend that for most people, because berry finding S is good. Oh, that's one of, oh, I guess I'll show this one off. This was my very early game Meganium. I caught it August of 2023, so I was running this guy pretty early on. I don't even know if I knew about berry finding's existence at this point. I just saw 2 tiers of help speed and was like, ooh, I haven't seen anything better than that. Invest. Little did I know that berry finding S and help bonus existed at the time. So that's one of them. This was my previous Meganium. As you can see, it's got berry finding S, skill trigger. It's got that help speed, but not until level 100, so I've kind of stopped investing in it because I'm never running both. And also it needs to compete with, at Lapis, it needs to compete with this shiny Primeape, which I talked about a little bit in my my Primeape video, but it's got berry finding S, help speed. Primeape overall, a little worse than Meganium. Produces a little less berries, but having that help speed M makes it just ever so slightly above the Meganium that I have. So, in terms of content, and eventually gets Dream Shard bonus, which, I mean, it's not great, but I'll take free Dream Shards whenever I'm running them. I'm not running them right now and haven't really leveled them much because Primeape is kind of mid except for at Lapis, and I haven't been at Lapis too much, so. But yeah, I just caught this Meganium not that long ago and dumped pretty much all my candies into it. As you can see, I got 16 left. Can't quite get it to another level, but I'd be happy to get it to level 50, even if it is Ingredient Finder. A lot of people I know say that Ingredient Finder is bad on the berry specialists, and My take on that is, well, since I do this kind of hybrid, since I'm the kind of person that considers the berry specialist's ingredient output for making these meals, like one of my biggest combos is that Neroli's tea. I don't mind it too much because I find that if you get a little creative and find the right dish to match their ingredient output, then you can get a lot of strength from the ingredients that your berry specialist output. It's not the thing that you should be looking for, but if they're producing them anyway, you might as well use them, you know? And the biggest argument for why ingredient finding on berry specialists is bad is just that they have less raw value. But that's not considering that if you're using them in a dish, you can up to like over triple the ingredients values, in which case an ingredient proc is actually going to be more than a berry proc. So what I like about the Meganium especially is that it is especially synergistic. If you look up here, honey and cacao at a 4:3 ratio for this ABA list. 4 cacao to 3 honey. If I go back into this calculator, or this, if I take a look at this infographic again, you can see that the flower gift macarons takes 25 cocoa and 17 honey, which is not quite that 4:3 ratio, but it's pretty dang close. It's more honey or more cocoa than honey. And yeah, your Meganium's not going to be producing this for sure. That's a lot of ingredients. But aided by something else, aided by an actual ingredient specialist that can produce those meals, means that you don't necessarily need the best, the one that can produce 25 cocoa, because it's supplemented by the Meganium. So, honey and cacao, I think, is just a great combo. I know it gets leaks at 60 on some Meganiums. That's not a deal breaker, because once again, leaks or ingredients aren't really what you care about on the berry specialists. But if you happen to get it, you happen to get it. And maybe then you can get a little more flexibility on the salad weeks or on the curry weeks, because there aren't any meals currently that take leeks in desserts. But it's great if you got that. See it as a nice little boon, a nice little bonus on your Meganiums if you have the honey and the cacao, because I think that it's pretty synergistic. I think this ABA list is especially strong. And if you have that, then Ingredient Finder, not the worst. Because yeah, you're losing on berry production, but your ingredient procs are probably going to actually be stronger in value if you're using them in those strong meals. So it's not really that harmful. So I don't have a problem with that being at level 50. And berry specialists, they still gain strength, even if you take a look at this. If I bring the Meganium in here, it is this one. Even if you bring it in here, and currently I've got no cooking settings up there, I'm putting in for that all ingredients are filler. So this is to make the worst case scenario for the Meganium. If I get it to level 50, or let's just put it at 49 for now. If it's level 49, it's producing 22,000 berry strength a day. If I bump that up to level 50, that does go down a little bit, but its raw strength still goes up, I believe. Because yeah, 27,664 to 28,313. It's still going up, so it's still worth leveling past level 50. It's not like that block step is going to hurt it, like a lot of people seem to think. So that's kind of my take with the ingredient finding there. Now, man, I spent a long time discussing the Meganium. I've still got a few more Pokemon to go over. Now, Gengar. Now, those of you that have seen my other Gengar, you know that I've got an absolutely cracked one. This one is the one that I found before my current one, and it is also amazing. If you have a Gengar like this, invest. Unfortunately, I just have a better one, that doesn't get used. This guy's actually better for producing mushrooms, as you'll see here. He's got the help speed M skills. Well, actually nowadays he's not better for producing mushrooms because I got the other one to level 50 and unlocked help speed M on it, but it used to be better for producing mushrooms. He's got help speed M, skill trigger S, skill level up, eventually that ingredient finding coming in, research XP bonus, and the quiet nature. I still hold on to him because there are some times when I want to stockpile a bunch of mushrooms in my bag, so I can run this guy and my other Gengar, and then I just get plenty to stockpile for a whole week. But he's not used that often. He's probably gonna stick level 42 because I'll probably take all my Gengar candies and dump it into my other guy. But if you see a Gengar like this, you should have a smile on your face because it's got that ABB list that is just fantastic. It's got help speed M, which is amazing on any Pokemon really. So yeah, my Victory Bell. Now this is one that's a questionable investment. Not gonna lie. If you know anything about how berry finding S works on ingredient specialists, I know Burvini just released a video not that long ago about it. You'll know that Victory Bell doesn't really do that well with berry finding S, and as you can see, it's got the berry finding S, but I like that it's a mono ingredient list. It's got help speed S, berry finding S, ingredient finding S. So right now it's really got nothing for ingredients. The only thing it's got for ingredients is help speed S, which is not that great. It's the weakest subskill that boosts your ingredient finding in a significant and like measurable way, but the absolute weakest of the weak for all the subskills that boost your ingredient finding. So, but once it gets to level 50, I'll be able to subskill seed that ingredient finding S into ingredient finding M. It'll find a bit more tomatoes. Mostly, this is just to cover tomatoes for me. A lot of things produce tomatoes, so it's rare that you need the mono option, and I didn't need the Victory Bell for potatoes. If you saw my last episode, my last sleep research video, my last sleep journal, you'll know that I am plenty fine on potatoes. I don't need a Victory Bell or Meowscarada for it. So, it's got speed of help down, unfortunately, which makes it even worse that I have the berry finding, because that speed of help down works directly against it. It's not a very strong option, but it's strong at doing the job that it's supposed to have, which is finding tomatoes as a mono option, especially for stockpiling for the next week. I think when I get to level 60, it's going to be especially strong, but that'll take a while. Now, I've got two more Raichus that I never showed off. And yeah, old gold power plants is just going to be great for me. This one. Now, this one I often run as a nanny. It's not great yet, but I think about this guy, and man, whenever he hits level 75, this thing is going to be one of the best Raichus in existence. Might give my Gigachu a run for its money, because my Gigachu, yeah, it's got helping bonus, help speed M, and berry finding S, but this one's got helping speed M, berry finding S, and the speed of help up nature, which I don't think that's as strong as the helping bonus, but at the same time, that speed of help helps him produce more, so we'll see. It'll be a long time before it gets there, just because of how much split candy investment I have with Raichu in specific. I already have two that I'm leveling up quite a bit. This one also has mono apple for the ingredient list, which, while you normally don't consider the ingredient list on berry specialists, I use this guy a lot for the ginger, because I just don't have a better ginger farmer, and this guy's better at farming ginger than you would think. So, despite being a berry specialist. So yeah, that's kind of weird. I've already shown off Bonnie. Blastoise. I have to admit, Blastoise is a never-ending hunt for me. This is one of the first Pokemon that I ever caught, and I ran it because I thought it was good. It was strong, and for me, early game. But then I realized that this thing kind of actually sucks. when I learned what was bad and what was good. August 17th. I don't even know why I invested in it. I think it was one of my first, like, Pokemon. I just love Blastoise as a Pokemon. So, I caught him. He's got the ABC list, unfortunately, which is terrible on a Blastoise. There's really, like, no synergy there. There's Contrary Meat Salad. There is the Contrary Meat Salad right here. The problem with the Blastoise for the Contrary Salad, though, is that even if you're intending to make this, Blastoise is still terrible for it. Because it is way off on the ratios. You're never going to get a single Blastoise that can make this meal by itself, because it takes 14 cacao per day, or per meal. And it's got it as the B ingredient. If that cacao and sausage were swapped, then it would weaken the Blastoise overall. Blastoise would probably be a worse off option, because then you're really only using it for mono milk. But there'd be a little bit more potential in the ABC list specifically, because you might be able to reach these numbers with subskills, but there's just nothing there with the ABC list, unless you can aid it in cacao production in some way. At which point that kind of defeats the purpose of running a single, like, an ABC list that can cover one meal. So, because it can't cover it, you have to aid it quite a bit. If you have a AAA Meganium of just the triple cocoa and like an ABC Wigglytuff, and you get that to the point of unlocking the cocoa, then you might be able to do it by supplementing it enough. But overall, I wouldn't recommend the ABC list on the Blastoise. So investing in this guy early on was a heavy mistake, and I kind of turned away from that and decided to start looking around. Now, I went through a phase. For a while where I just thought Berry Finding S was the strongest and coolest thing ever. It is strong, don't get me wrong. Berry Finding S is phenomenal, but it doesn't make an ingredient specialist, as I kind of discussed with the Victory Bell. The Victory Bell is acceptable because it has the right list of that triple tomato, and that's really all I need it for. It produces enough. That concept of enough, as I have discussed before. This Blastoise that I also invested into, I saw the right ingredient list that I wanted. I had the double cacao, and I saw it had Berry Finding. I'm like, oh yes, this thing's great. I plugged it into the calculator, and was like, this thing produces enough when I get it to level 60. So why not? But then I realized way later on, it's not producing me enough, actually. Especially since they released new meals. And that is the danger in this, like, ingredient-focused, but, like, trying to find the one that produces just enough ingredients for your needs, is that old options that you thought were good can get power crept. Because when this meal got introduced, before this point, the highest cacao requiring dish was 14. That means 42 cocoa a day. Now we have this meal, which takes 25. That's 75 cocoa a day. So I really don't need this guy. Yeah, Berry Finding S is cool, but it's not really what you're looking for on the ingredient specialist, especially slower ones like Blastoise. Well, Blastoise is more mid-speed, but it's got a high ingredient rate. So you can see that Berry Finding still only makes it take up 54% of its overall strength per day, despite being a Berry Finding S Pokemon. And this ingredient value isn't even coming from meal strength. If you were to account for, like, putting these ingredients into a meal, this would be far bigger. This is just using it as the raw ingredients, which is the worst way to use ingredients. So this is just kind of sad if you think about the Berry Finding's impact on the Blastoise. In fact, if we were to see the difference, if we just remove that, it was 29,000 with it. 22,000. That's only 7,000 a day. That's really not that much of a boost. I'd much rather get more cocoa off it to make this thing reliably make that high tier deal, or high tier meal, than I would have the Berry Finding. So that was kind of, I went for a streak for a while. I went on a long streak where I was just like, Berry Finding on anything makes good. Berry Finding, that's amazing. Dual Specialist, cool. that's not really how you should be playing the game, because certain things don't really want it that much. Now, this Raichu is probably never really going to get used that much either anymore. He carried me through, or I used him quite a bit during Raikou week. As you can see, he's got skill level up in Berry Finding S. He's got skill chance down, so that kind of goes against the skill level up M. But I basically caught him, saw Berry Finding, and was like, Raikou's coming up soon. I'll hold on to him. He's got Berry Finding. But I've gotten to a point where, like I said, Berry Finding S on its own, for me at this point, on Berry Finders, isn't enough to cut it. So that's really all this guy has. I'll hold on to him in case I ever want to do the cheeky 4 Raichu strategy again. If I ever want to just see how it works at the old gold power plant, now having the prospect of possible Electric Berry Island, then there might be something here. I still think it'll be better for me to run 3 Raichus, Gardevoir, and my Gengar. Just because, especially if it's dessert weeks, then I'll be able to make that Neroli's tea. And basically, and also, there's a lot of talk that it could possibly be Ghost Berry. If it's Ghost Electric Berry, then my gosh, I have like the best team imaginable. Now, right now, it is stronger than this other Raichu, but honestly, I'd rather keep investing into this Raichu, because eventually this one is going to be one of the best Raichus in the game. So for I'm thinking more long-term investment. If I have to run one Raichu that's weaker than my other 2, I'd rather it be this one because I'm getting XP. And it also has that sleep XP bonus to help it level faster. So, yeah, level 75 is not out yet. It's going to be a long time coming for that since it's only level 35. But I figure for long-term investment, one day I'll get this guy there. Typically speaking, the argument for not investing into a Pokemon like this is that by the time that you get to level 75, you would have just had a better time spent hunting another one. That by the time that you catch another one, it's going to be... By the time that you get to level 75, you could have just caught a better one. Now, I make the exception for this guy just because if we plug him into the Rainon X calculator, and that's typically my thinking and why I tend to ignore the level 75 main skills, but just seeing that Help Speed M and eventually the Berry Finding S, and it's not like he is my only Raichu. I'm able to run other Raichus just fine. I just figured this guy can be in the back, slowly leveling over time. I messed something up here. Oh, I forgot. Help Speed M. There we go. And skill trigger. And it has the Adamant nature, which, if you don't know, is one of the strongest, if not the strongest nature in the game for the berry specialists. If you look at this thing for total strength all the way up to level 75, I mean, it starts off not even that bad of percentile. If you remember my Zumichu, my Zumi Pokemon, it's around this, not that much far behind, not much farther behind this percentile range on my other guy. But this guy, if you look at level 75, 1 in 589 odds. Honestly, I don't think I'm catching 589 more Pichus or Pikachus in the next year and a half. I just don't see that. I'm not spending that many Pokebiscuits on them when I already have good options. So this is one of the few rare cases where that level 75 subskill makes a big enough of a difference that it may actually eventually be worth the investment. And it's not like I'm investing in it now and running with something suboptimal. I still have the other guys, so I don't see a problem with it. One day, when I'm 23 maybe, and now I'm 21, so to think of a couple year-long investment. Now, this Venusaur I covered the other day. I'll cover the Beware as well. I've got a Monocorn Beware. He's not great, but he's good. He's got the Berry Finding, which once again, I like Berry Finding on Ingredient Specialists, even though it's not the thing you need to be looking for. But he's got Inventory, he's got Help Speed, eventually that Ingredient Finding coming in late. He kind of sucks in terms of what you're looking for ingredient specialists, but he's got the mono list, and I only intend to use him for stockpiling corn in the back. Generally speaking, I want to run my Dragonite for that corn, just because most of the meals that need corn don't take too much more than this 14, which, as I've gone over in another episode, that is just enough for me. My Dragonite produces about that amount, especially when running alongside my Gardevoir. As you can see, 14, 14, 17, 12, 18. I guess they get a little more up there, but not too much more. So I can always stockpile, and I find that running that mono specialist to stockpile in preparation weeks is what makes them strong. So just having the mono list alone, I feel like is a good stat. Exactly what you're looking for in the Beware. So I saw the mono list. I saw it help Speed S within reasonable range, and figured it's got good enough. And hey, he's got Berry Finding S as a little bonus. So yeah. And also, XP gains up. He'll get to those higher levels faster. So I figured I don't need a perfect Beware for my purposes. So I invested in him. Intend to keep investing. I'll maybe eventually get him to level 60. So that's my Pokemon showcase for the day. Still slowly going through my whole collection to show you guys. And I hope you have enjoyed it. And I hope that you guys will tune in next time. No more procs. Darn it. Oh well, I couldn't expect much from just 2. Hey, have a great day.